we asked the voters whether or not they wanted the mayor to come up with a plan to reduce greenhouse gas by 50% by 2080. And that got approved by 82% of the voters of the city of Berkeley. So since we had that mandate, we've been now working to put together a climate action plan. And it's a very comprehensive climate action plan because, you know, there's these various segments that we have to look at. Is obviously the first situation obviously is transportation, which in our case is a huge problem. It's about 50% of all of our greenhouse gas comes from transportation related activities. So we're interested in trying to figure out ways of getting people out of their cars, other forms of transportation, emphasizing what we hope will be more and more opportunities for people to live near transit. So we can have transit villages for people to be able to not need a car. They may want a car, but they wouldn't need a car, so that they can, in fact, get out of their car. We're also trying to figure out ways of getting people to use car shares. We have an opportunity in our city to have car shares. We have two car share companies, and people join those companies, and then they have opportunities to use a car that will allow them to not have a car and have a car available to them when they need one. The city of Berkeley itself, the actual city government, we now have 5 city car shares, and that means that we've been able to eliminate carpools, put cars that are in our car pools and get people to use that. And as a consequence, people like myself come to work and don't come drive to work, but figure that if I have to go someplace, I can arrange to have a city car share available for me to use for my business activities. And what we have found is this is saving us $300,000 a year by having the city car share in the city of Berkeley, because we don't have to maintain cars, we don't have to buy cars, we don't have to involve with the labor of maintaining them. So this has been an effective method, and now we're trying to figure out other ways of establishing more carpools, getting ways for people to use the technology to be able to arrange for people to be able to use carpools, casual carpools, to get from place to place. So that's underway. We look at our buildings, and in Berkeley we've had a law for a long time, since the late 80s, which says that if a building sells or you do an extensive remodel, you're required to do energy efficiency. So that has made a big difference. Both commercial and residential. We come in, we make sure that we stop all the leakage, we make sure that people understand that what they can do with small steps that actually add up. We've gone through and done all of our lighting, so we have LED lighting, so that we have actually achieved our greenhouse gas emissions under the Kyoto Accord. We've actually exceeded the greenhouse gas called for in the Kyoto Accord 3 years ago. So now we're trying to push that envelope way, way further. But we're also, when you do a remodel of your property, or you build a new structure, you're required to meet with a person who tells the buyer or the builder exactly what green materials are available for them, so that they can go green and do so without spending any extra money. It's not a requirement now, but we're moving in that direction to make sure that all buildings that are built, at least right now, they have to examine green, and we're moving to say in the near future that they're going to have to build green. The city has already made a guarantee that we've already said that all of our buildings are going to meet LEED Silver, which is a standard that's quite high. So we're also looking at recycling, because we know that not only do we have to be concerned about, we have to be concerned about what we buy, and we're trying to encourage people to do what we call pre-cycling, not buy things they don't need, and particularly packaging that they don't need. And then we have a zero waste goal, and we're underway with trying to achieve that. So we now pick up lawn waste, yard waste, kitchen scraps, of course bottles and paper and things that are traditional kinds of things, cardboard. We've been doing for quite a while. So we now are almost at 75%, and we're hoping to get to reach that level. One of the challenges has been the commercial sector, where we want to make sure that when construction projects get done, that we recycle as much as we possibly can, and that they use green products. And then also in the commercial areas, particularly apartment houses, where it's more challenging to get people to recycle. But we're pushing and trying to figure out ways of of making that happen. In the energy area, Berkeley has been one of the few places that has come up with an idea about how people can go solar. And we've come up with a financing plan that allows people to use private capital, but to borrow money through private capital that allows them to have a 20-year payback, a low interest rate, and upfront capital that's available to them at relatively low prices. And it's a loan that goes onto their property tax so that if they sell the property, the new owner inherits that obligation, and as a consequence means that it's reliable and long-term, and it's been a huge success. We're just in the process. We're the first in the nation to have this project, but we're very proud of it. And as it goes through this beta phase, we expect it to go all over the United States. So we're excited about making that happen. So between all of these sectors, between recycling, building, transportation, energy efficiencies, we're making a difference. And we would say that, it's one of these things where people say, oh, well, they're just one little small city, you're only 110,000 people, it won't make any difference. Well, somebody has to lead, somebody has to do it. And it's a tiny little steps that everybody takes will make a difference, as far as I'm concerned, to turn around the planet and to end global warming.